Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Dr. Zashish Xhaka. Yo, come soon, Mick. I'm here. I'm here as the Batman breaks box office records, breaks pandemic records. It's got a good chance now of reaching $1 billion in the global box office, because the Batman box office soars with 57 million on Friday, eyeing 100 million plus for weekend. That's the second biggest opening day haul of the pandemic era. The Legend, CJ, how much did it make? So far, 57 million. That's huge. It is eyeing up 120 million. That's 20 million more than the Joker movie, which wasn't even in a pandemic. That is huge. Villager, a win for DC. Yup. Dr. Jai Zaka, we'll see it again this week. Keep on supporting the movie. Don't get complacent. Don't think because this is a big weekend, that's it. The second weekend is so important. We need a small drop-off. Hisham Kashi, awesome. Joe, what do you think of the Eric Shun cameo in the Batman suit? I must have missed that. What are you talking about? Who's Eric Shun? Hashling, me. How much? 57 million opening weekend. No, 57 million thus far. It's looking like 120 million plus weekend. 20 million more than the Joker movie. The Legend CJ, is this box office numbers from all over the world? No, this is a domestic. This is the domestic. This is only the domestic. Ryan Price, saw it last night. Oh my God, was fantastic. I'm going again tonight. Awesome, keep on supporting it. 11 out of 10. This is the perfect version of Batman and it will go down in history. Villager, 57 million just in 2-3 days. That's amazing, it is. Weekend estimates for director Matt Reeves' The Batman are ballooning over 120 million after 3-hour epic opened to 57 million on Friday, including 21.6 million from previews. This makes the Batman's opening weekend haul the biggest of the year so far and the second biggest of the pandemic era, behind Spider-Man No Way Home, 260 million opening bow in December. Important to understand, Spider-Man No Way Home is part of a consumer confident franchise in its umpteenth movie. It's uncomparable. Dr. Zayazaka, I'm pretty sure international numbers are huge, so am I. By comparison, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, which you shouldn't be comparing it to because it's a sequel, made a then record 158 million in its opening weekend back in 2008. Where are we? Its direct follow-up, 2012's The Dark Knight Rises, made 160 million in its first weekend. Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice had a higher but rather front-loaded 166 million debut in 2016. And director Todd Phillips' standalone Joker movie almost cracked 100 million in 2019. The Batman is doubling the 58 million with which Nolan's Batman Begins opened in 2005. Also not a fair comparison. The Legend CJ, can you explain the domestic numbers compared to worldwide numbers? I'm confused. Well, the Legend CJ, this is just for one country. The rest of the numbers will come in on Monday. Then we'll know globally how it's doing. Hashling, me. I'm curious in China. You will find out very soon. Has it even been released in China yet? The film estimated 120 million, 130 million opening, is the 6th highest of the March, behind Beauty and the Beast, 174.7 million, Batman v Superman, 106 million, Captain Marvel, 153.4 million, The Hunger Games, 152.5 million, and Alice in Wonderland, 116.1 million. Bonesaw is coming. How, Mick? Yo, Bonesaw is coming. Please don't come for me. Good to be here again, but unfortunately I can't stay. I will be watching the Batman for the second time this evening. Awesome, glad to see you. Subjective Reviews, this is my good friend, Subjective Reviews. Thank you for coming in. I've got lots of time for this lad. Follow his YouTube channel, please. We can't compare this to any other Batman. It's just so different, but so amazing. Loved every second of it. I'm so happy you enjoyed it, Subjective Reviews. Great to have you on the live chat. Budgeted at a reported 200 million. The film stars Robert Pattinson, blah, blah, blah. But basically, this is amazing. These are amazing numbers. So what does this all mean? This means the Batman can reach $1 billion because the Joker reached $1 billion with only 100 million opening domestic weekend. This is huge, but it's all about the second weekend. We want a small drop off. The great news is this film has ounces and ounces of rewatchability because you need to keep on watching it to get more and more out of it. Hisham Cassie, hopefully regular moviegoers won't get turned off by the runtime. Subjective Reviews, glad to be here. Good to have you here. Villager, if people can watch Endgame, they can watch The Batman. Of course, of course, and of course, this is not a canonical franchise yet. It hasn't got set up canon. This is the first film. These are huge numbers. Now, I want to read something else. Now, I've seen an interesting headline here. Matt Reeves explains Batman ending, do not expect to see spoiler in another movie. So I wonder what bullshit they're misquoting here. Dr. Zaka, Batman needs to soar past Marvel. Well, I don't think it's going to get any close to Spider-Man No Way Home, but that has consumer confidence. That's from a franchise that's been going for a very long time. This is only the first movie. Matt Reeves explains the Batman ending. Do not expect to see spoiler in another movie. Joe, did you like in Batman and Robin when Mr. Freeze told Batman, ice wallow come? Yeah, I find that movie hugely entertaining. Josh, it's necessary. When director Matt Reeves sat down to conceive his vision for the Batman, he's shooting as a costume vigilante. He should inspire his eventual Rose Gallery to take on their equally larger-than-life personas. Over the course of the film, that transformation commenced for both villains. Paul Dano's Riddler, Colin Farrell's Penguin, as well as Batman's quasi-partner in crime-fighting, Selena Kyle Zoe Kravitz, as she becomes Catwoman. Dr. Zaka, I'm really looking forward to see Matt Reeves has in store for the future. Me too. Josh, the Batman needs to cross $1 billion. Yes, I hope it can. It's been given a good chance, but it's all about next week. Apparently, I've got no likes. Wow. Anyway, I thought it'd be really neat if so much of the fabric of Gotham just already existed. Reeves tells Variety, and it was like an old Warner Brothers gangster movie. If you took a certain turn, you might see a character in his origins. That feeling is no better demonstrated than in the penultimate scene of the movie after Dano's Riddler has been locked up in Arkham Asylum, struck by despair that his grand plan to destroy Gotham has been foiled by Batman. And as he wails in anguish, a voice from the cell next to his whispers from the door. But this is very interesting because actually the Riddler won. His plan didn't fail. His plan to join forces with Batman failed, but he did flood the city. Dave Ethan just saw the Batman and it was incredibly brilliant. It certainly was, my friend. Hello, Dave. Dr. Zaya Zaka just liked the video. Come on, folks, show some love. Yes, please. What is it they say? The inmate says, one day you're on top, the next you're a clown. As the camera pulls back, Riddler and the inmate dissolve into laughter and a new wicked friendship is born. The character played by Barry Coogan, Eternals, the killing of a sacred deer, is credited as an unseen Arkham inmate, but any astute Batman fan, or for that matter, Batman neophyte, will know who this inmate is meant to be. You're right, Reeves says. It's the Joker. Josh Coloni, in the film, does Batman have any dick insider? I don't think so, mate. While it may seem obvious that Reeves placed this scene at the end of the Batman to set up Kogan as the lead villain for the inevitable sequel, the director was quick to explain that not only was that not his intention, he's no way convinced that Coogan's Joker will appear in any more Batman movies. But you said in your headline, there's no way the Joker will be in the sequel. You're wrong. You're taking what the guy said and you're misinterpreting it. It is not an Easter egg scene, he says. It's not one of those end credits Marvel or DC scenes where it's going like, hey, here's the next movie. In fact, I have no idea what, when or if we would return to that character in the movies. Yeah, he's saying that, but he knows. Hisham Kashi. So basically, it's a bit of a stupid article, if you ask me. I think the Joker will be involved in the sequel, so I don't know why they've gone with that headline. It's a bit clickbait, if you ask me. Hashling me. Cinema Score gave it an A-, which is a general audience loving it, despite the length and runtime. Yeah, so all this crap about the general audience was crap, but I wasn't sure how they would receive the movie. As I say, very important that it has a strong second weekend. So go out and see it all over the world if you can afford it. If it's, if you can get to the movie theater, support this movie. Let's get this to at least $1 billion. It'll be a great start for DC live action movies. So that would be great. Hisham Kissy, did you get a chance to read the prequel novel for the Batman? I watched Boba Talks and he told us a lot about it and it sounds very interesting. Red Panda, I think we witnessed the beginning of a new era for DC, and I think it has a great chance to become better in movies than Marvel in 4 or 5 years. I think it all started with Joker. Yeah, you know what? I think Marvel is aging, and there's only so long that will stay fashionable. And DC are doing something different. Now, I said this in my previous live, that DCEU are setting up the Bat family in Batgirl, and we've got this self-contained universe in Earth 2. That's very interesting. It gives DC live action lots of places to go, lots of potential. So it's really good, and I'm really happy. So we are getting everything. This is what the multiverse strategy does. Discovery are coming within weeks, so we'll see what their plans are, because there will be an opening statement from David Zaslav. It's going to be interesting. Let's check out this poll. Have you voted on my poll? Will the Batman clear $1 billion? Yes, 85%. No, 15%. So that's very, very good. That's interesting. But as I say, we can't be sure right now until the second weekend. That's going to show us if this film has the rewatchability. I think it does. Very interesting, though. I'm starting to think it's got potential for $1 billion. Who knows? Because we don't know the exact figure yet. The American domestic is looking around 120 plus. So that could be 130 or whatever, right? But then we see what happens around the world. That's going to be maybe 300 million opening weekend. That'd be great. A Red Panda, I'm sure people will get tired of Marvel in the next couple of years. Yeah, take this year, for example. The only interesting, exciting movie is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Once you get past that, it's not particularly interesting. Now, Disney Plus of Moon Knight, and that's an intriguing series. Again, apart from those two things, the full Thor movie, I'm not particularly interested in that. But we will see. They have consumer confidence. People are going to keep on going in there and watching them. They've got the general audience. They've got Marvel fans. But important not to focus on them too much, just to take the wins when we get them. Black Adam will be very interesting how that does. I'm predicting 500, 600 million. Let's see. It's a huge year for DC, that's for sure. And I was warning about this for a long time. The Legend CJ, in your opinion, did you think The Batman was a better movie than No Way Home? Oh, listen, No Way Home is a movie from a very long franchise that has, it gives fans what it wants, these three versions of Spider-Man. I think it's a great story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's a really good superhero Spider-Man movie, but as a movie on its own, without any tricks or cameos, or cheats, this film is brilliant. And it's the way films used to be made when I was growing up. So yes, of course, The Batman is a much superior film, in my opinion, than Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a very entertaining, satisfying movie as well. The Marvel movies are more continuations than films. Next chapter, watch the next chapter, move on, move on, move on. We are very fortunate to be owned by Warner Brothers in the sense that you can get these directors and they can come in and tell their stories free. And as I've said before, if Zack Snyder had his own Earth, there wouldn't have been any problems or divisive conversations about the Snyderverse. And I think if the Batman was in the DCEU, it would have had the same discourse and divisive opinion and conversation. Hisham Kishi, even though I really liked Spider-Man No Way Home, I completely forgot about it the next day. I watched the Batman on Thursday night and I can't stop thinking about it. And you're not the only one. Red Panda, what I like about Black Adam is that you can clearly see that under that costume, there is really, really a big man and not CGI. Yep. I'd be surprised if there was nearly any CGI in this movie. Maybe when he flies. With the parachute, of course. So it's a great opening weekend. We'll get confirmation tomorrow, and then we'll get the global confirmation on Monday. But yeah, it's a great opening. I mean, it was, they were saying at first around 200 million, which it doesn't look like it's going to get, but we'll have to wait and see. The legend CJ, during the movie, I couldn't stop looking on how good the Batsuit looked. Me too. I couldn't take my eyes off Rob. I couldn't take my eyes off his eyes, his face. It was such a compelling performance in his eyes. This is why you can't have the white eyes. You take something away from the story. Comic books and live action are very different mediums, and it's very difficult to adapt everything. Now, what Snyder did was very interesting. He lights up the eyes in the battle against Superman for Batman, but during the movie, I think we can see Affleck's eyes. Someone may correct me on that. And now I have to work out what the best Batmobile is. I don't think we'll see this Batmobile again, apart from the prequel spin-offs. I think they'll evolve everything as we go on. I mean, it will be hugely disappointing not to see the Joker again, so... Auguste de Kine. It's crazy how well the Batman did. I originally laughed at the thought of Pattinson playing Batman, but damn, was I proven wrong. And I'm not mad at all. The Batman is an amazing movie. It is, and Rob Pattinson deserves every plaudit he's getting. The legend CJ. So is the Joker not the Joker yet? He's not that character yet. That's right. Matt's confirmed that. Hisham Kishi. It's funny. I've always wanted to see something like the DCEU come to life on screen, but I find myself being more and more interested in grounded DC films like the Batman and Joker. Well, you know what? There's a space for variety. I think we saw from the reaction to the Snyderverse in the DCE Central Universe that people do want to see like a fun middle ground franchise, but also we want to see stuff like the Snyderverse and Joker and the Batman. We can have it all. That's what's great. So I'm crossing my fingers and I'm very confident that Zack will get his own pocket universe like Matt has done as well. But I like to see both things, and I like to see all fan service, not just one type, because That's not fair, and it's not good business either. But I'm extremely happy about the box office. And I'm not someone who likes to dwindle on the box office, but it's important. The Legend CJ, do you think the DCEU will do Batman Beyond since Keaton is old? It's interesting if they'll give him his own movie. I'm hoping they allow Tim Burton to direct him in a movie. We'll see what happens, though. I think Michael will only make a Batman movie front and center if Tim's involved. I think by Michael agreeing to do this, that Tim Burton is on board. I don't think Michael would have done this without without Tim Burton's permission, and I do feel that Tim deserves a third Batman movie. So whether that's Batman Beyond, whatever it is, I would love to see Tim Burton and, Michael Keaton reunite. That would be great for me. Augustni. Oh, that would be awesome. It certainly would be. So I think we're all decided here with 24 votes that the Batman will clear $1 billion. I think we're hoping at the moment. The Legend CJ, I heard there will be prequel comics for the Flash movie. Is that true? Yes, absolutely true. Very exciting. Because this sets everything up. And what I've heard from the prequel comics, they're very Barry Allen focused as well. So those people saying that this film's, having Batman and this one in, doesn't focus on Barry. Let's be clear. The original Flashpoint has a very big representation of Thomas Wayne's Batman. So it's still a Batman in the graphic novel, Flashpoint anyway. They're just using a different Batman. Thomas Wayne may cameo in this anyway. And we don't actually know if the Keaton Batman is the Keaton Batman. Who knows? He may not be the original version of Batman. He could be another version. It's going to be interesting what they do. Hisham Kashi, do you think Keaton and Affleck will have a small fight in The Flash? No, they're not going to be in the same scene together. Because I think that, was it Michael Keaton said he never, or Ben Affleck, or one of them said they didn't see each other in the film. So, although they could be lying, I would love them to cross paths. I just can't see how, because I only imagine Ben Affleck being in the first act of the movie before Barry, incites Flashpoint. Of course, anything is possible. Dave Ethan left a like. Thank you very much. All the likes are very, very, very appreciated. Very small YouTuber who needs all the likes he can get to be seen on the algorithm. Josh, who is your favourite Batman? It's so difficult, Josh. It's so difficult because there's so many good ones. We've got Keaton. We've got Bale. We've got Affleck. We've got Robert Pattinson. Who do you choose? Let's be honest. I mean, Clooney, you leave at the door. Of course you do. Not that because George isn't a great actor, and I love George to bits, but, I don't know. Christian Bale was my best Batman for a very long time. I really like Ben Affleck. Not sure he's my favourite. And Pattinson is awesome. So, who is your favourite Batman? I think we've got a lot of great Batmans. It's hard to choose. I mean, it'd be like asking me who my favourite Superman is. That's difficult for me. Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh, George Reeves. They're all great. Henry Cavill, Tom Welling in Smallville did a super job. Josh, mine is Christian. Christian Bale is a brilliant Batman, Bruce Wayne. Really is. Probably one of the best actors to ever play Batman. So talented. I can't believe he's migrated to the MCU. Josh O. I haven't watched the Batman till now. And you liked it, yeah? I'm sure you've already said you liked it, but My memory isn't what it is, what it was. It's interesting, isn't it, when you see something like the Batman. Augusti Knie. Mine is Ben Affleck. Love how similar he is to Frank Miller's Batman and the old and brutal style, but still a big fan of Christian Bale's and now also Pattinson. I agree. Hisham Kissy. How cool was Riddler's weapon tool in the Batman? Wasn't expecting it to be used as a tool to reveal that last clue. Yeah, it was a very clever way of using it, though, wasn't it? Yeah, most of you feel that the Batman will clear $1 billion. We're getting a lot of votes in for that. Well, 27 votes is a lot for me, before you mock me. I know 27 votes isn't really a lot, obviously. But thank you for getting involved in the vote. It does help to bring interest to the video. I can't wait to see the Black Adam trailer, because that's the next one. Black Adam won't be expected to clear $1 billion, so it will be under less pressure, but The Flash will be expected. And Aquaman will be expected with $1 billion because the first one made $1 billion. So it peaked. Maybe that film peaked, that series peaked too soon. Augustine Nee, what were your thoughts on the Riddler and Penguin in the Batman? Both superb. Really unique versions. Now, the Riddler, not really at all like the versions from the comics, but the look of the Penguin in this film does remind me of the comic book Penguin, but he also looks very much like Robert De Niro. So I really enjoyed the performances, the way Matt plotted them out. They were brilliant, effective, unique versions of these iconic characters. Hisham Kishi, how does the Batman compare to all your all-time favorite non-superhero movies? Well, I wouldn't like to compare like non-superhero movies with this film, but you can in a way, I suppose, because it's very different and it feels like one of those unique movies. I mean, JFK is still one of my best movies. Born on the 4th of July, you know, The Accused starring Jodie Foster. I wouldn't put the Batman above any of those films. They're just so huge in the iconography of Hollywood. So the Batman's brilliant, but I wouldn't start putting it above everything else. I think that will be a bit reactive, but it's a very impressive movie. And we don't get a lot of impressive movies in the modern day. It's what I try and explain on Twitter. It compares favorably to my all-time non-superhero movies, but I mean something like Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. No, nowhere near. The Batman's nowhere near films like that. You know, these are, as I say, part of the iconography of Hollywood. And the problem is they don't make films like that anymore because all films have to clear $1 billion now. So it's all about box office rather than good art. You know, the Snyderverse is good art, but it wasn't appreciated because it was in the mainstream universe. They made that mistake. And really, Zack got shafted because they didn't want a Superman sequel. They wanted a Batman movie after Man of Steel because they didn't like the Man of Steel box office. So it wasn't Zack who chose to do Batman next. Or I think he would have chosen to do a Batman-like solo movie. But it was the studio that wanted Batman and Superman to cross paths. Easy box office. They were cheating. I think Snyder would have gone along the lines. And I don't know whose idea it was to do a Suicide Squad movie third. I think that was a horrible idea. There were so many other characters who deserved a solo outing before a Suicide Squad movie. The Suicide Squad IP isn't that popular, even in the comics. It's popular, but not in the realms of a third movie. That's something you do when you get to like the Ant-Man part of the franchise. I mean, I like the first Suicide Squad. I like the Suicide Squad, but it ain't, it isn't that hugely popular to say, oh, we'll make the third movie that. You've had a controversial first movie, a controversial second movie, both great pieces of art for me, but you have to put your business head on. But I really think in David Zaslav and Discovery, we're going to get the real deal. And big decisions are going to be made. And I can't wait in a few weeks' time to see what's going on. I don't think any announcements will be made until the Batman is out of cinemas. Because they don't want to mess around with the feel-good factor. Because I think there will be some decisions that some people won't like. This is a studio that does need sorting out, especially at Warner Brothers Pictures. Now, when you take over a company, you merge with a company and you've got to go around apologizing to directors like Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan. It isn't a good start, is it? Hisham Kashi, with the Batman and June, Greg Fraser is becoming the next Roger Deakins, in my opinion. Yeah, he's brilliant, isn't he? He really is. He really is, Greg Fraser, and I'm hearing a lot of good things about him. Greg's been around for a few years. The reputation's always been there. People used to talk to me fondly about him when I used to be in Hollywood. And what happens is the better you are, the more movies you get. Josh Josso, yeah, mate. If you're in the chat and you haven't voted on the poll, please choose what you think. Will the Batman clear $1 billion? Let me know. What do you think? My opinion, it's 50-50 right now. The Legend CJ, do you think in the second movie Gotham will be stable or worse? Well, we know we're heading to no man's land. We know they're trapped now because of the flood. That's why Reeves has done it. We're going for no man's land. No one will be able to come in. So they're going to be trapped there now. I think, because people keep on calling the Riddler an incel, but I think he's a smart guy. I think that a lot about his plan wasn't revealed. I think even he could be working for someone else. And I think there was a plan to section the whole city of Gotham off from everyone else purposely. And that was the plan all along. What do you think about that? I think there's a big bad in the background that we haven't met yet. It could be Dr. Crane. It could be Ra's al Ghul. Matt Reeves, being a fan of the comics, I would love him to introduce a Ra's al Ghul that they don't kill off, that he's there in the background. I think Ra's al Ghul will appear somewhere along the line because he's so huge in Batman media. Josh Josso, most people are liking the Batman, so it could have a long run in theatres. Yeah, well, it's got a 45-day window in the United States, and that'll be that. And then it's going to HBO Max. It will be no longer than 45 weeks, 45 days, whatever. That's what they do now. Because of streaming, they want to amp up their streaming window as well. But by those 45 weeks, it's going to make a lot of money. But as I say, the second weekend is always key. Never get complacent over an opening. Because it's not the MCU. This is not automatic. And I'm still undecided if people will come back the second weekend. I think they will. I hope they will. But I don't want to count my chickens. John, do you think we could see Two-Face in the Batman sequels? Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we got him in the Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan. We got him in Batman Forever. Is that the kind of character that Matt's interested in? Can there be a more interesting take than Nolan did? We'll have to wait and see. It's all possible, of course. I think they're going to introduce Harvey Dent as the district attorney because he's very important in that element. I just don't see how you can do better than what Nolan did, but that's the whole idea of storytelling, telling the next story. I mean, Josh Josso, no, I want a good version of Bane. I think we're going to get Bane. I think he will do a great version of Bane. But you see, everyone's got a character they want. He can't do everything straight away. So who knows? Whatever he does, I'm just happy that he's involved. We've had a great movie. And there's nothing wrong with having picks with what you want. But also, you've got to understand that they can't give you everything at once. But I think Bane is someone who's coming, definitely. That was definitely Venom in that movie, in the Batman. It's interesting, you know, because Matt claims he doesn't like Easter eggs, but there were a lot in that film. Hisham Keshi, hope you don't mind answering for these questions. What did you hate the most about LA while you were there? Has it changed you in any way? No, I don't mind answering these questions. LA is like, it's like you're in not in a film. It's like no other place that you've been in. It's like being somewhere. It's like going to another planet. That's what it is. And it's not real. You know, normal rules don't apply. So it was very intimidating for me going there at first because it was nuts. So, you know, it's very challenging. It did change me, but I am happy to report I had a really good time in LA. I just couldn't afford to stay there any longer because the big break never happened. So it's very difficult, very difficult. But I'm glad I went there. I met some very interesting people, some I'm still in contact with. And yeah, an amazing experience. But you need to set yourself up before you go there. You need accommodation because, you know, it's cold out there, baby. You don't want to be on the streets. You don't just want to go there. But I learned a lot about the industry. That's why I'm more, if anything changed me, I'm more cynical about it now than before I went. But I'm quite happy with what I'm doing now. So I'd definitely go back if I could. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a business stuck in the past. It's a business stuck in its ways. Hisham Kishi, okay, got you. That's why they got angry when Day and Date happened, because they don't like the natural order of things being broken. They are what they are. They want to be in control. You hear how they speak on social media. Very authoritarian. What they say goes. So we've all decided then that Batman's going to clear $1 billion. Let's see what happens, because I think The Dark Knight Rises cleared $1 billion as well, did it? Just under? Hisham Kishi, they're kind of materialistic too. Well, there is that, but there's a lot of different things about Hollywood. I mean, we could be here all day talking about it. If you're all right with that kind of life and those types of people, nothing's real. You've got to take everything they say to you with a pinch of salt. They could tell you that you're their best mate, they're going to, this is going to happen. That you just got to nod your head. If you're that way inclined, it's a lot of fun. I just go with the flow, so it's cool. My motto is, I'm not going to change for you. You're not going to change for me. John, when the Batman comes out on HBO Max, do you think it will hurt the cinema box office? Ah, well, John, once it goes onto HBO Max, it won't be in cinemas anymore. It's literally got a 45-week window or day window. I think it's 45-day window. No, hang on. Yeah, 45-day window. Once that's over in America, it goes straight to HBO Max. Dr. Zayazaka, who would be your pick for Mr. Freeze? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Joking. It's an interesting one. I mean, Matthew Fox, who used to be in Lost, would be pretty cool. It depends how young you want him. Do you want him to be 30? Do you want him to be 40? Do you want him to be 50? There's some certainly interesting actors out there. Hishan Kissy, I haven't seen Batman, the animated series. Should I check it out? Definitely. I haven't seen it, actually. I mean, I've seen Batman, the Brave and the Bold. But that's the go-to animation everyone talks about, isn't it? Batman, the animated series, they're doing a sequel to that. Matt Reeves, Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams. Looking forward to that too. You know, he's got this Batman cinematic universe, Matt Reeves, and he's taking it all the way. It's going to be interesting. I must admit, I haven't seen this excitement for the DCEU before, for example. Scott Edwards, are they still doing a Green Lantern Corps movie? As far as I know, they are, but they haven't announced anything. My pick is Robert Downey Jr. as an older Hal Jordan, and the younger John Stewart. Pac-Man, hi, finally watched the Batman. Wow, my favourite. Awesome. Glad to hear you liked it. You see, for me, the third act is a natural progression of the story from the first and second act. I still don't understand why people don't like it. All I can think is they're expecting, a fight between Riddler and Batman, and it wouldn't be much of a fight. Scott Edwards, did you like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie? I think it has its good things, yes. I think OR looks stunning, for example. Obviously, the costumes were CGI. It wasn't a good fit. It didn't work. They made a mistake. But there's a lot of good things about that movie, yes. There's certainly lessons to be learned, for sure. Hisham Kashi, one day I'll get to see a live action version of that cinematic fight scene between Batman and Deathstroke in the Arkham Origins game. That would be great, wouldn't it? Maybe the next Batman movie will be Batman Arkham. Who knows? Batman, I never felt the movie was long. I wanted more. Yet, that is the kind of feeling I'm getting, and that's the feeling I had myself. I like long movies, but obviously some movies are not meant to be long. Some movies are not meant to be short. Matt felt he wanted a 3-hour movie. John, Dave Bautista as Bane. Who knows? Why not? Ahmed Hikal. Hey, movies, TV mad. Less Flash talk. Go for it. Scott Edwards, the Riddler's plan actually partially succeeded. Basically, it all succeeded apart from Batman standing by his side. He thought he found his brother, his friend. But He should have not realised. I don't think he actually knew Bruce Wayne and Batman were the same person, did he? But the Riddler did succeed, yeah. The guy literally gave himself up on purpose. Oh, excuse me. Terrible, isn't it? John, do you think any other DC movies will be 3 hours? Well, probably the next Batman movie, yeah. I mean, The Flash may be approaching 3 hours, yes. Scott Edwards, the final fight in the stadium in the rafters was amazing. It certainly was. Stunning. Batman, the Joker looked like the one from Arkham Games. He did actually, didn't he? I think there's a reason for that. Ahmed Hikal, okay, after Batman's success, how the upcoming movies will be a success in your opinion? Black Adam will approach around 600 million. That will be a big success. It doesn't need to be a billion. The Flash needs to cross a billion, and Aquaman will be under pressure to cross a billion because the last movie did. I think they all have a relative amount of success. I don't think we're looking at flops here. I think Batgirl will be a beloved movie as well. Scott Edwards. So DC has 3 franchises going, right? Reeves Earth, Arrowverse, and the DCEU. Yeah, well then you've got the Doom Patrol Earth as well, haven't you? You've got the Titans Earth. Smallville animated series is coming. That's another Earth. It will all come naturally and explain naturally when you see the Flash movie. Then you'll get what they're doing. Ahmed Hikar, really Batgirl, I think it won't be a success. Well, it's going to be on HBO Max, so it's not about box office. I think it will be a success. I think they're bringing in the Bat family, Michael Keaton, Batgirl, Dick Grayson. I think it's very exciting. Firefly, Brendan Fraser, great casting. It's looking like a brilliant movie. J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, I don't see how you can see that as and not being successful. Batgirl is a very popular character in her own right anyway. Imagine if they cripple her by the end of the movie. Right, stay there. I'm going to put my heating on because I'm cold. John, I hope the Batgirl movie comes to the cinema as well. Yeah, well, that's what I wanted as well. Hisham Kishi, Batman's arc in the Batman was beautiful. It was. He goes from emotionally numb to hopeful towards the end. The ending was completely necessary. Also, Bruce grows to care about Alfred after he almost dies. Exactly. Scott Edwards, is the purpose of the Flash movie to create a more centralized universe and a fresh start? Yes, the idea is to amalgamate all of the multiverse apart from the Reeves Earth and make it one big thing. And it's a kind of reboot of the whole franchise, yes. Ahmed Hiccup, because they will always be compared to Batman because they are related. Well, I'm compared to my brother. What do you want me to do? String myself up? It doesn't make a difference, does it? Everything's compared to something else. The Batman's compared to the Dark Knight. One of those things, isn't it? Let me put my heating on. Ahmed Hacker, talking about Batgirl, I know, yeah. Scott Edwards, I hope Henry Cavill will be in the Flash movie. Fingers crossed that he's in Black Adam, the Flash movie, maybe even Aquaman, and Shazam Fury of the Gods, I think, may be the one he's definitely in. If he's not in any of them. We'll see what the plan is. But it's certainly a good weekend for Warner Brothers and DC. Well, it was great with Peacemaker. That was very successful, and this is successful. So that's, very successful. That's 2 successes in a row. But Peacemaker and the Batman were always going to be successful. The challenge is the DCEU movies, and we haven't had a really successful one for a while. It's been a long time coming. I mean, Shazam, was the last hit, really. Ahmed Hikal Cavill. Ahmed, I think reports saying he's coming back. Yes, reports are. Scott Edwards, I think every single DC hero will appear in the Flash movie. I think a lot of them will. Hisham Kashi, I don't know why, but Robert Pattinson's Batman kind of remind me of Daredevil at times. I'm assuming it's because Frank Miller wrote storylines for both characters. Probably, yeah. I didn't like Shazam. Well, Shazam's a family movie for children. That's why you probably didn't like it. I enjoyed it. It's not my favourite CBM of all time or anything, but my nieces and nephews really loved that film. It was meant for them. And there should be DC movies for children as well, not just for adults. So really, Shazam isn't meant for us. I think the second one's going to be a lot darker, by the way. Scott Edwards, Birds of Prey is better than Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, most things are better than Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. Look, Birds of Prey is okay, but unfortunately, obviously introduced a brilliant version of Black Canary. Black Mask they killed off, which was dumb. But with Flashpoint, we can fix these things. Abba Hickle, it's just not serious. They didn't respect Shazam. Every sense they joked around. There was no seriousness. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you, Ahmed. Basically, that film was made for children. And children love that film. It can't just be for us adults. The DC live-action universe should be everyone. A really adult universe like the Pattinson universe, and a more centralized universe with a bit more gags and a bit more lightheartedness. There should be a bit of everything. It shouldn't just be what we want. Pac-Man, yeah, I like BOP, but not the ending. It felt forced. Yeah, that bit when they're in the cafe at the end, that was terrible. Scott Edwards, isn't Black Canary confirmed to get her own movie? Yes, she's on HBO Max. Hisham Cassie, who do you think Bruce stares? Why do you think Bruce stares at the Riddler when he gets arrested at the diner? Does he know him? I don't think so. Well, actually, in the prequel book or whatever you call it, the prequel novel, I think they did see each other when they were kids. But I don't think Bruce noticed him. John, Batgirl should have been in Birds of Prey. Well, no, because Margot Robbie decided that Harley should be in Birds of Prey, something that shouldn't have happened in the first place. You're right, Batgirl should have been in Birds of Prey. A Birds of Prey movie without Margot Robbie's involvement would have been a great movie. Scott Edwards, is Black Adam set post-Flashpoint? Well, this is the big question. I mean, it looks like Peacemaker is set pre-Flashpoint. So we'll soon find out. I'm not sure about that, though, Scott. Abahika, why can't it be for kids and adults? Like they have Kid That Turns Too Powerful Man. Well, here's the thing, Ahmed. Man of Steel was a really adult kind of themed movie, which was a Superman movie, which you would want the whole family to see. Batman versus Superman was very adult. Suicide Squad was very adult. You know, it's very difficult. You can't make a bunch of movies that this is not what they would do, because Snyder or Reeves would never make a movie just for kids and adults, right? Because they're all tours. So with all these movies targeted at adults in the DCEU, they decided to make Shazam for it to appeal to children, which is very fair as far as I'm concerned. Scott Edwards, I love Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I prefer her in the first Suicide Squad. But unfortunately, Margot Robbie is also obsessed with feminism and identity politics. And she ruined Birds of Prey. She was making the big decisions for that movie, and it didn't really work. And it didn't make much money either. I think you'll have to wait a while to see her again. Abahiko, did you like Birds of Prey and why? It was okay. I didn't like the gender politics and the man-hating in it, but it was an okay, solid movie in places. But some people like it, and that's cool. And this is the beauty of Flashpoint, of rebooting the universe. You can get rid of the duds. I wouldn't go as far to say I like Birds of Prey. It's all right in places. I don't think it's a great movie, no. I mean, I like the start of it when she's narrating and she's telling us, I mean, again, she's showing how a horrible person her dad is, purposely. The film enjoys man-bashing. Scott Edwards, did you like the early seasons of Supergirl and Legends? I like season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow. Season 2's okay. I actually didn't mind season 1 of Supergirl. It was all right, but it's not the Supergirl from the comics. They didn't take advantage of the source material. Ahmed Hikar, how do you think Andy will adapt the Speed Force on the big screen? Well, you're not going to like it. I think it will be similar to what Zach did with a few differences. Isham Kissy, how come none of the cops decide to remove Batman's cowl after he got blown up? I'm assuming Gordon prevented them from doing that. But even Gordon would be eager to know his real identity. Well, Gordon respects him and respects his secret identity. And that's why Gordon, as much as I'm sure he's intrigued to find out, doesn't do that. Patman, Matt said he's also interested to explore Hush. He has. Very exciting. A character we've never seen in live action. Red Panda, El Rata Alda scene was so funny. Yep, just saying. Ahmed Hicko, oh man. John, did you enjoy the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? I did. They're great movies. Although the last one they did, not so much, but the others were great fun. Ahmed Hicko, slow motion again, most properly. Only you. Scott Edwards, do you think Cyborg is still active in the DCEU? Yes. But probably not the Ray Fisher one. Well, right now, in our imagination, yeah, the Ray Fisher one's about. But there's no chance of seeing him again at the moment. Ahmed Hickow, if slow motion senses are a lot, the Flash won't be a success. No, because you don't like the slow motion, but most people love what Snyder did with the Flash, especially in the Snyder Cut. Hisham Cassie, shouldn't have Penguin ended up in Arkham towards the end of the film? Probably, yeah, I'm not sure where they took him. I don't know what happened there. Derpy Gaming, how much it make? 57 million so far. It should get to around 130 million in America by Monday. If you just come in the chat, check out my poll. Vote on it, please. Will the Batman clear $1 billion? Ahmed Hickow, you will know what I mean if it happens. Yeah, well, all I'm going to say to you, the reactions from the Snyder Cut with that scene, that flash scene, the one you don't like with the slow motion, was very popular. Scott Edwards, was Crisis on Infinite Earths the first tease of the DC multiverse? Absolutely. That is the origin story of the multiverse. Hisham Cassie, it's weird that they just let him there after the car chase scene. Yeah, that was a bit weird instead of sending him to the cops. Although the cops are all corrupt and on the payroll anyway, so it wouldn't make much of a difference. Only you can make this stand. Ahmed Hickow, that's what I mean in the Flash movie. It's not going to be a one scene. Well, maybe there's different ways of him moving in the movie. The Legend CJ, when do you think the Black Adam hype will start? Well, as we run down the Batman clock, they'll start getting into it. Maybe in a couple of weeks. Red Panda, yeah, but it's like Falcone. They know they did something wrong, but they can't accuse them of anything until they really find out evidence. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Apahigo, that's what I'm hoping for. Scott Edwards, will Mira still have a big role in Aquaman 2? Well, this is the big question. How much of a role has she got in that movie? Batman maybe all underestimates Penguin. He's seen as a normal goon now. Yep. But he'll rise to power in the Penguin HBO Max spin-off series. Can't wait for that. I don't expect to see that till next year or any other the Batman spin-off series, but we'll see. Kishan Kishi, the Nirvana song really worked in the movie. It did. I'm really glad they kept it in the movie. Yeah, it works really well. It works with the tone. It's perfect. And it worked on the trailers as well, which I was very happy about. The Legend CJ, do you recommend any Superman comics to read? I don't really know them so well, to be honest. I mean, I definitely give Superman versus the Elite a read. That's a great story. But I am more of a live action man, I will be honest. And then there's the graphic novel, isn't there? Superman Earth 1. You should check that out. Scott Edwards, if she doesn't, it's stupid. I love Mira. Well, there's a lot of controversy behind Amber Heard, Scott, and I don't know how much she's going to be in the movie. Red Panda, I think John Turturro was really underrated. His performance in the movie was incredible. Yep, he played a good role. I think he got a lot of acclaim from people. It's a great performance, but Falcone's always been a great character, and he played his part well. Great casting in this film as well, wasn't it, The Batman? Some of the best casting. Now Warner Brothers have heard this box office, they'll start green lighting stuff. You wait, you're going to hear very quickly of this, that, the other. They've got it all planned out anyway. Oh my God, I'm so ridiculous. Red Panda, who would you cast in as Mr. Freeze? That's something I have to think about, isn't it? Josh Brolin would be interesting. John, do you think Henry Cavill will come back as Superman? Yes, I do. One way or the other, it's going to happen, whether it's happening now or that Discovery have to force that. We'll have to see. The Legend CJ, I love the fact that Batman didn't recognize the murder weapon. He's so rich, he didn't know that tool is used for carpeting. Shows there's a lot of room for this character to grow. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you were a billionaire, you wouldn't know that, would you? I mean, you may have seen someone use it, but it's unlikely. Only you. Hishan Kashi, I love the themes of grief, anger, and emotional disconnect in the film. Great point. Yes. I think Pattinson is the most relatable Batman. Very relatable, very emotionally broken, and it was really good. It was good to see. It worked for the story. It worked for the piece. Red Panda, yeah, he is the most human one for sure, especially by the end of the movie. When he comes to terms with who he's got to be. He's no longer vengeance. Stop yawning! The Legend CJ, the actor who played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad, would be a great Mr. Freeze. You're right, he would. Breaking Bad was full of great actors, wasn't it? Jude Law. Who knows? Daniel Radcliffe to reunite with Robert Pattinson. Who knows? Funnier things have happened. Red Panda, which TV shows from DC did you love the most? Smallville. Smallville. Enjoying Superman and Lois, but Smallville is the best. Ishan Kessie, yeah, I think Bale's Batman starts off this way in Batman Begins, that then starts becoming relatable when all the expensive high-tech gadgets and Tumblr come into play, lol. I don't agree with that. I think that stuff is fun, but certainly, especially in Batman Begins, he's very relatable. The Legend CJ, who do you think has the best live-action Joker laugh? Well, there's three, I think, and I think it's Nicholson, Phoenix, and Ledger. They have the best laughs. I wasn't very enamored with Barry Coogan's laugh. To be honest, it will have to grow on me. I mean, Ledger has an amazing laugh. If you don't get the laugh, you don't get to be a great Joker. Red Panda, I heard Zack Snyder attended premiere of The Batman. Is that right? That's correct. Very good friends with Matt Reeves. He's shown kissing. No, I mean everything aside from the contact lenses in The Batman looks like it could be built by regular people as such as a suit. The Batmobile and some of his gadgets, yeah, but just because one thing's one way doesn't make it superior to the other way. The point is, it's different people's different visions, isn't it? So it's all good. It's all good, as far as I'm concerned. Pac-Man, did you like Watchmen series? No. Wasn't for me. Did you like it, Pac-Man? The Watchmen movie, on the other hand, is amazing. Scott Edwards, Black Lightning, White Canary, and The Flash are all awesome heroes. They are. I mean, they're not as awesome as Superman, but no one's perfect, right? Pac-Man, yeah, I liked it. That's good. Yes, I didn't get much out of it, I'm afraid. Red Panda, I loved that show. Arrow 2 was awesome, yeah, especially in the early years. Scott Edwards, I would love to see the Arrowverse heroes and the DCEU heroes interact. So would I. The Legend CJ, do you think the Riddler will change his last name from Nashton to Nigma? Yeah, probably, maybe Enigma. Maybe that's what's happening. Everything's going to evolve to be more accurate to the source material the further we go along. This is just the baby steps, the beginning. Hisham Kashi, I think you misunderstood what I was trying to say. I love Batman Begins, but all I'm saying is Pattinson is a little more relatable and believable. Well, that's your opinion. I understand what you're trying to say, but no, I don't agree with that. In my opinion, I think they're both relatable. I think Christian Bale's performance in Batman Begins is very relatable as what we saw in the Batman. And just because he's got more outlandish weapons doesn't make, in my book, doesn't make him less relatable to me. Scott Edwards, the Riddler is not the real Riddler yet. That's right. But he will be. He'll get there. This is why he picked Dano. So he can evolve into the role. Red Panda, so it's pretty sure that the sequel will be No Man's Land, right? Yep, they're trapped there now, aren't they? I think that was the plan. I think Riddler did it on purpose. I think Riddler is working for somebody else. The Legend CJ, I've noticed a lot of the Nolan fanboys are not appreciating this movie, which is a shame because they've taken away something from themselves because it's a great movie, as the Nolan ones are as well. Why do we have to choose? Why does it have to be one or the other? Hisham Kishi, no mention of Edward Nigma, just Edward Nashton for now. Yep, just for now. It will evolve. This will all evolve and be more accurate to what we know it as. Batman Begins and the Batman are relatable because they focus a lot on fear and human emotions. That's spot on. Batman Begins is a sensational movie. Scott Edwards, do you think there is an overarching villain the DCEU is moving towards? Yes, I do. Who that is, I'm not sure. Red Panda, which Nolan movie ever is your favourites? Well, one of them is Memento, one of them is Batman Begins, and the other one is, what's it fucking called now? The one with Leonardo DiCaprio, Inception. They're my top three. I don't know which one's my favourite out of those three, though. Scott Edwards, maybe the Anti-Monitor. In the DCEU, probably not. Right, guys, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes. Been a great live again. John, even Katie Holmes was good in Batman Begins. She was. Even, yeah. We never saw her again, though, did we? I wonder if Tom Cruise banned her from being in the next movie. That was strange, wasn't it? I don't want to wait. That was weird casting, though, wasn't it, though? That was weird. She doesn't do very much. They tried using her. I think No Batman is an easy movie to make. Is it? Red Panda, were you okay with the fact that Batman did not save Ra's al Ghul at the end of Batman Begins? I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with them killing off Ra's al Ghul because he's a character who should evolve with Batman in a franchise. So that was a mistake. But I don't mind Batman letting him die. It's a bit like Superman killing Zod in a way. There were other ways to create a solution, but they decided to be a little bit controversial. Hamid Kissy. No, Katie Holmes decided to do a movie called Mad Money instead. And who would decide to do that instead of The Dark Knight? Something tells me either Nolan didn't like her performance in the first movie, she didn't make that decision. She knew she wasn't going to have a choice of that movie. The Legend CJ, hopefully they introduce other love interests like Talia. Yeah, well, just to complicate things, hopefully. I want to see Ra's al Ghul. I want to see Talia. I want it Comic Book Central. The Legend CJ or even Andrea, a.k.a. the Phantasm. Yes, please. Yes, please, damn it. Give it to me all. Inject it in my veins. Have I told you lately? Ahmed Hakko, because so many movies was made about the character, so they have the experience and they can learn about him from other movies that was made. Well, I think every director has their own ideas on what they want to do with these characters. But I suppose you can be inspired by other movies as a director. Hisham Keshi, lol, the scene where she slaps Bruce in the face was deserved, but she didn't have to slap him again. Lol, Bruce should have been pissed. Yeah, Bruce took that well, didn't he? Maybe he took the venom drug when we weren't looking. That's why he didn't feel the slap. I'll read one more comment before I go. Channel Grey. Is it Chanel Grey? How do you feel about all of these toxic attitudes around the Batman regarding the Snyder fans, Marvel fans, Reeves fans? Why can't we just all get along? Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Why can't we all get along? Because life is made of people with different mentalities and different opinions. I'll say one thing, you say the other. I'll say, no, it's not. You'll say, it's the other. You. And the reason we can't all get along because we're all on social media constantly giving opposite opinions. And some people don't have the emotional intelligence just to agree to disagree. And unfortunately, there's a lot of, without me being horrible, mentally unstable people on the internet. It's not their fault. But they haven't got the social skills to understand, that's your opinion. And I think that's part of the problem. Akmadika, see what I mean when I say it's an easy movie to make? They already have the foundation of the character. Well, you can find the foundation of the character in the comics, can't you? It still doesn't make it any easier as far as I'm concerned. Hisham Cassie, because everyone has a forum nowadays. That's the problem. Batman, will Matt make more than 3 Batman movies? I want this universe to go very long. He'll make 3 movies, a bunch of spin-offs, then he'll move on to Superman. That's what I think. I mean, he could make more. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a trilogy seems to be the thing. If it's just a trilogy, there'll be lots of time jumps, but then he's got lots of spin-offs as well. Chanel Grey, let's just enjoy the golden age of comic books in media platforms. Yes, I agree. Well, we're sane. Well, I'm not sane exactly, but I know what you mean. Ahmed Hikal and many trolls as well. Red Panda, what is happening with the hate towards the Batman is exactly what Riddler does with social media in the movie. Well, to be fair, Red Panda, the hate isn't that huge. I mean, when they released BVS, that was real hatred. We had to really deal with a lot of shit. But the hatred for this movie is minimal. But if you go on Twitter or somewhere, you're going to see something. You just have to ignore it. You can't let it affect you. Chanel Grey, what villains do you believe will be in the sequels? I believe that we're going to get a Batman Arkham movie for the sequel where Batman will be stuck in Arkham with the Rogues Gallery. So I think we're going to get a lot. And I think the Joker will be very important in this film because he's going to manipulate this thing. Ahmed Hikka, does the Hamada reads the script of Hudson made for the Flash movie to give green light to make it, or does he only see the movie? Nope. He's the president of DC Films. Nothing happens without his permission. Chanel Grey, will they go towards more of a No Man's Land storyline? Oh, definitely. Because that's why the Riddler did what he did. And I hate to repeat myself, but I think the Riddler is following somebody else's orders. And I think that explosion and that flooding happened on purpose to create that situation. If you're new, please smash a like and please vote on my poll. Will the Batman clear $1 billion? If you don't mind, of course. I'm not forcing you. But a like would be nice and a vote on a poll would be nice. If you want to be supportive. Channel Grey, will they go towards more? Oh no, we've read that. Hishmish Kashi, movie going was such fun experience prior to Rotten Tomatoes and social media. I agree. Channel Grey, will the DCU eventually fizzle out? Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? It's all about the Flash. It's all about the Flash. If the Flash succeeds, it isn't going anywhere. But let me put it to you this way. The DCEU has survived Batman versus Superman being divisive, Suicide Squad, Justice League. It doesn't look like anything can defeat the DCEU because if it can survive all these controversies, it's going to survive even longer when it begins to be successful. Ahmad Hickel, so he read the script and he liked it. Nothing to worry about. Yes, he's read the script. And I assume he liked it. Yes, Chanel Grey. Will they be more interested in more of this gritty Batverse? It's not going to be one thing or the other. In Matt's verse, it'll be this stuff. and in the central DCEU, it will be more mainstream. So there'll be a balance and variety, which is what we all want, so everyone can get something instead of one set of people. Red Panda, who do you think did that explosion? Is the Riddler manipulated? Oh, I think the Riddler's been manipulated, yeah. I think Ra's al Ghul's behind everything. Channel Grey, I personally love the Batman so much, I don't even want to compare it to anything like The Dark Knight or Avengers. It's so much different. That's why I love it. Well, you can't really compare it to The Dark Knight because The Dark Knight's a sequel, and Avengers is totally a different tone and really meant for a different type of audience. So, yeah, you can't really compare it anyway. We shouldn't really compare media. I know we do it, but it's like comparing Smallville with Superman and Lois. How can you do it? I mean, I think Smallville's far superior to Superman and Lois on a lower budget, but Superman and Lois is still great. People are obsessed with rankings and comparing. I mean, I ranked the Batman films in my earlier life just for a laugh. Ahmed Hicko, I mean, because he gave the green light to make the movie after reading the script, so nothing to worry about from Hudson Movies TV Man. Yeah, everything's fine. I'm sure if Walter likes it, it's brilliant. Channel Grey, Pattinson disappeared into the role. Absolutely, was astonishing. He's a very good actor and directed so well. That's the idea, isn't it? To disappear into the role. That's the concept of acting. It was great. Ahmed Hicko, what do you think? Listen, I like what I see so far. I like the sneak peek. I like what they're going for. But without actually seeing more of the thing, it's difficult to judge. Hishman Cassie, lol, that's not how it works, Ahmed. Look, if the Hollywood machine was perfect, we wouldn't get any flops. That's the fascinating thing here. Channel Grey, do you think the Joker scene was a bit forced in the movie? Maybe would have worked better as a credit scene. Well, it doesn't make a difference to me personally whether they have it there where they had it or at the end as a post-credit scene, something Matt clearly didn't want to do. I think a scene like that personally is something that I would have put in the very final scene because it's a cliffhanger and it's exciting. But he didn't want to make us think it's a cliffhanger because he's there, but he's not necessarily going to be there. Again, that's what Matt's told us. So it's odd. I don't know why you put someone there for no reason, but we will see. Maybe that's the Joker in his early stages and we won't see him maybe till the third movie. Who knows? Ahmed Hicko, okay. Ahmed Hicko, okay then. How Hisham? That's for you, Hisham, not for me. Channel Grey, how do you feel about some of the critics saying that the third act is underwhelming? I personally loved it and thought it was different and more of a personal statement to the character of Batman. Let me explain to you why they said that the third act is problematic. And basically, I'll explain it to you simply. They were expecting explosions, this, that, the other, fights, a final fight. The film wasn't supposed to be that. The film's third act is a natural progression, as I said earlier, before you came on the chat. But because the first two acts were very intriguing and mysterious, they kind of wanted that to carry on. You've got to conclude the story, haven't you? This third act thing, like I said with Wonder Woman 1, Wonder Woman 2017, when they hated the CGI battle, I think that's a great final act. I think it's very emotional when Diana is getting angry and about to kill Dr. Poison. Then she embraces love. So these people are not expert storytellers. They're not expert filmmakers. And when they talk about third acts being disappointing, I just don't know what planet they're on, to be perfectly honest with you. Hisham Cassie, I remember Josh Trank saying that the Fantastic Four script was amazing and the movie turned out to be an abomination. Maybe the original script was amazing, but I remember a soap opera actor telling us we were going to have the best Christmas episode ever, and it was shit. These people say anything. They're told what to say. It's all part of marketing. Red Panda, they wanted another big twist, probably about the Riddler. Well, listen, that's happened for a reason, and only Matt knows what that reason is. Maybe the Joker will be in a spin-off on HBO Max. We don't know. There was a reason for it. So it wasn't a cameo, he said. It wasn't an Easter egg. It wasn't this could happen next, but he's there for a reason. Chanel Gray, will Robin be a Mayor? Let's say that again. Will Robin be Mayor Don Mitchell's son, or will Robin Bat family ever show up in these films? Also, what do you think about some critics saying Alfred getting hurt didn't affect them because of his lack of screen time? Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Because Alfred, you don't want overkill with Alfred. You don't want to see Alfred in every scene. And the scenes he was in, he was magnificent. And the hospital scene sealed it. That made him relevant. And that kind of created an emotional bond between Alfred and Bruce, excuse me. So that doesn't make sense. Now, in terms of will Robin be Mayor Don Mitchell's son, maybe. Maybe that's where they're going. I think they will go with Robin, but I don't think they'll go with the entire Bat family. So I think someone on my earlier life made a great point. He was directing Venom Let There Be Carnage. I don't think he was able to do more scenes, but he was spread out well. He was in it more than enough. I mean, how much Alfred do we actually want? Isn't it called The Batman? And there's a lot of people in this film. So everyone was serviced very, very well as far as I'm concerned. Hisham Kissy, all I'm saying, Ahmed, is you shouldn't get your hopes up until you actually see the film yourself. Well, my hopes are high, but my hopes are always high for every DC film. Sometimes I get disappointed, sometimes I don't. It's good to be hopeful. Chanel Gray, will there be a 4-hour cut released ever? Never. He said there's no director's cut. This is his definitive cut. But what he may do, the other deleted scene with Joker and Batman in, he may put back in the movie for the home media. So for the digital home copy and the physical copy, that may happen. But we'll never see that 4-hour cut. Unless they're doing it and saying it for us to campaign for it, but I doubt it. Red Panda, yeah, but why do they make the Earth 2 with Pattinson and also Batgirl and Keaton? What's the point of Batgirl? Red Panda, you serious? What's the point of Batgirl? Batgirl has many, many people who like it. Just because maybe you don't like her and others don't like her. She's a very popular character, Barbara Gordon. And they're setting that up. They're setting the Bat family there with a lighter tone, with, Keaton's Batman and introducing a Robin. Why not Batgirl? I don't really get the question. What's the point of anyone? Chanel Gray, what was the best scene of the Batman in your opinion? Best action scene, best attribute, favorite line? I'd say the club scenes were amazing, along with monologues and everything with Batman. Well, basically, I loved the opening narration. I loved when he says that I can't be everyone and I have to pick my targets carefully. Obviously, like most people, the best action scene was the car chase between Batman and Penguin. And they were my favourite bits, but there's a lot of things from this movie I could pick out. Chanel Gray and Penguin. Penguin was great. Red Panda, yeah, but why don't they make Batgirl in the Pattinson universe? Well, why make it in the Pattinson universe and not the DCEU? It's a balance, isn't it? Because Batgirl is better for the DCEU mainstream audience. Channel Grey, the twists were great too, especially about Selena. I was very surprised about that and loved the fact that Martha Wayne was once Martha Arkham. Wow, I didn't even know there was a family called Arkham, but that's where Arkham Asylum comes from. That's nuts and amazing. Red Panda, that's what I mean. I'm happy with where Batgirl is, and I don't necessarily need a Bat family in both the universes. I think that what Matt is going for is very, very different. And if you put a Bat family in that story with everything else it's dealing with, it could be too much, too soon. If you've just slid into the chat, please smash a like. Please look at my poll. Give it a vote. Will the Batman clear $1 billion? Hishman Kishi, honestly, my favourite bit was in the beginning of the film when he beats up the street thugs. Yeah, the sound of Batman slowly marching towards them was intimidating as hell. Who are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance. Red Panda, the movie was influenced by the Telltale story, and so I love the Arkham story in that game, definitely. And it's all hints that the next film will be an Arkham film. That's what I mean. There's secrets in Arkham. And they could use it to give us flashbacks for Martha Wayne as well. I think a big Arkham story is coming in Matt Reeves' The Batman universe, for sure. And if I've got this right, I expect plaudits and, everything else. A Red Panda, the movie was influenced... Oh, no, I've read that. Red Panda, maybe Lady Arkham. Channel Grey, how do you feel about the mayor not being killed? It seemed like they had some clear shots for nearly 30 seconds. Yeah, well, this is when you have to suspend disbelief, Chanel. At the end of the day, look, when she gets shot, I thought, oh, maybe she's going to die. But obviously, they want to keep her for the next chapter. She was important to the story. She was the moral kind of eyes of the film in a way. She's the one who says she's going to make everything better, but maybe she could become corruptible later on. It'll be interesting. But I'm not bothered about her not being killed. I mean, it's like stormtroopers, shooting at Star Wars characters and never hitting their targets. That's what happens in stories. Otherwise, you kill everyone, don't you? And there's no story. Oh, dear. Are we keeping you up, Mick? Channel Grey, do you think the ending was a bit rushed? I personally would have liked a bit more of them taking their time instead of him just leading them of the garden, but that's just me, I guess. Well, it's a 3-hour film. I don't think anything's rushed. I think the plot ended how they wanted it to end. No, I don't think it was rushed. I think the pacing was perfect. Hisham Kishi, the Riddler sort of reminded me of the villain in Dirty Harry starring Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I know which one you mean, yeah. Red Panda, Bella Real is good or corrupt. The movie did not specify that, I guess. No. We still don't really know who killed the Waynes. Even if it was Falcone, he didn't do it himself. Someone out there did it. Could it be a situation that he forced Alfred to kill his friends? I'm just putting it out there. Hallelujah. Chanel Grey, is something in the way the best use of a song in a comic book movie? I'd say yes. Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think in movie terms, definitely. I can't think of a better one. Because they don't really use songs, do they, in superhero movies? It was an interesting choice, but it works. It's that moody grittiness, depressingness of that song. It's a great song. Kurt Cobain had great quality. Another tragedy. I'm just remembering an hour ago I said I was going in 5 minutes. Chanel Gray, do you really think Catwoman will leave to Bloodhaven? This is an interesting thing, isn't it? I think so, yeah. I think so. So when they see each other again, it will be like, there's been a natural progression of them being apart and reunited, if you like. So I think she is going there, yeah. What you see in a story is what you get. You see her leaving, so she's going. She wasn't leaving, they would have said that within the story, so. Red Panda, maybe the Catwoman spin-off will adapt Catwoman when in Rome. Well, why don't you tell us about that one, Red Panda, because I know nothing about that. Hisham Kishi, Glasgow looks exactly like Gotham City. I love the fact that they shot it there. It looks very similar to the Gotham in the Long Halloween graphic novel, and that was one of the inspirations for Matt Reeves. So loyal to several kind of selections of the graphic novels and the source material. Chanel Gray, do you think Pattinson Bruce Wayne is a virgin in this universe? Kind of dumb thing, but just wondering your thoughts. That's an interesting one, isn't it? I think potentially you're right. Or you've asked a question, you haven't given me an opinion, but I think, yeah, he maybe he's untouched, yes. Or maybe even he was abused. Who knows? We'll find out though. It could be a kind of universe where we never see him do anything with anyone. We'll see about that, though. Hisham Kishi, the guy is an insomniac. He probably can't get up. I can't believe we're going here. In the gutter. That's where we're going. If you're in the chat and you haven't liked the video, please do if you want, and please vote on my poll. Will the Batman clear $1 billion? And we'll see. We'll see. You've got a lot of confidence in the film, which is great. I've got a lot of confidence in the film, but it's all about the second week. Never be fooled by an opening weekend. Channel Grey, I think Bruce will become much more involved in Wayne Enterprises. He will then eventually become involved with politics, where he meets Harvey Dent, hopefully played by someone like Gyllenhaal or McGonaghy. Yeah, I think he will evolve as a character. His costume will evolve. The Batmobile will evolve. The whole narrative will evolve. Channel Grey, then Joker will turn Harvey into Two-Face and create even more conflict in Bruce's character. Absolutely. Now, of course, in the comics, I think, I'm not great on the comics, but he gets acid thrown in his face, doesn't he, when he's in court? That's how they did it in the Schumacher film, so I don't know. And if you're in the chat and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The DCEU Daily every day, either live or pre-recorded. Live every night. Kishan Kishi, but regardless of any sleep disorders, I think anybody can get excited by the sight of Zoe Kravitz. No comment. I don't want to be accused of objectifying her. Got to be careful these days. I sure would. Chanel Grey, I would much rather see more Mad Hatter Court of Owls, Bane, Scarecrow over Mr. Freeze. I don't know how they could make Freeze realistic in this universe, but I'm fine whatever they do. Well, you can make him realistic, and Matt's actually spoken about this. There are ways of doing it. It's about these people have an imagination, and I think Mr. Freeze is an interesting character. Hisham Kishi, laughing emoji. No, I wouldn't go near Jason Momoa's stepdaughter. Hey, man, you go near my daughter? Yeah, well, at least she's a woman. At least I don't go near fish, right? Well, that's the rumour. Hallelujah. His young kiss you, lol. I'll let Peacemaker deal with him. Yeah, I've seen episode 1 of Peacemaker, but I haven't seen the rest yet. Channel Grey, I would love a winter movie for the next one with Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Two-Face. That would be perfect, just like the animated series. That would be cool. Definitely. Well, this guy running this stuff now, Matt Reeves, is a very big fan of the source material, so he's going to give us that kind of thing. Not necessarily that, but something. Red Panda, when Bruce looked at Catwoman getting dressed, I got Rear Window vibes, yeah. I certainly got vibes. But it's not as bad as going to the cinema and watching Basic Instinct. You know what I mean? Chanel Grey, could you see... my throat's dead. Bloody hell. Chanel Grey, could you see them ever going into more of a Mask of Phantasm, Solomon Grundy, Clayface, Poison Ivy type of film? Probably on an HBO Max series rather than a movie. Chanel Grey, more fantasy. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like at the moment he wants to go that direction, but who knows what the future holds. Hisham Kishi, Lo, I don't mean to objectify her, but if Zoe Kravitz walked past the cemetery, she would wake up the dead easily. The DCEU has certainly got some glamorous ladies, hasn't it? Hisham Kishi, it will be a Michael Jackson Thriller situation. Chanel Grey, I believe Batman has already passed 100 million worldwide. Wow. And that is after one Friday, because they can't have counted Saturday already. It's not possible. I think by Monday it would have crossed 300 million globally. It has to have done. It's probably going to make 100 million Saturday, 100 million on Sunday, probably. So about 300 million. And then it's all about the second weekend. Because obviously, once people go back to work, they don't make much money. General Gray, I love how the whole cast is excited about this universe. It's different than the Nolan films that always seem like Bale was ready to bail. Do you know what? I don't think Bale was ready to. I don't think Bale was ready to bail. I think him and Chris had a good relationship. They understood each other. No, I think it was cool. I don't think one. I think. Look, Christian's a very passionate guy. He's been in the industry since a small boy. But no, I don't think he would have ever bailed on that. Red Panda, Zoe Kravitz, Margot Robbie, Gal Gadot, Amy Adams, Amber Heard. Oh my God. Gal Gadot is just a goddess. And you know what I like about her? She's married to an everyday, regular man. Not a superstar. You know what that says about Gal? She's genuine. Here's young Cashy. Do you think Zoe Kravitz missed her shot on purpose? I don't think she was trying to kill Falcone because she sheds a tear after he dies. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think that Matt's going to lead her into the gangster life. When she comes back, she's going to vie for power as well. That's why he did that. I think you're right about the shot, definitely. It's a very good idea, making her Falcone's daughter. It gives her something. Instead of the person who steals stuff and, has got a relationship with Bruce or Batman, it doesn't. You need to, it's respect to your female characters. Chanel Gray, I like more of a Daniel Craig as Bond feeling for Bale as Batman. You could tell he wanted to move more. Patterson seems absolutely stoked about it, this role. Well, I would imagine after his first film, I would want him to be very kind of enthused about it. But yeah, look, I'm not a big Daniel Craig fan. I don't like the shit he's had to say. He's interfered in the production of James Bond and his era of Bond isn't great. Casino Royale was a great movie, but it's an inconsistent franchise. And they took it out of the normal continuity as well. What a mess. Chanel Gray, even Batfleck didn't seem this excited. Yeah, Ben Affleck isn't like that. But Ben Affleck has got a bat cave built in his house. He's a big fan. But yes, Robert is a big fan and he's very, very, very happy to be where he is. And you know what? It would have been a big gamble after leaving Twilight behind, doing a small career with not much attention, and then doing Batman. If it went wrong, it would have been a nightmare for his career. But obviously, when you're working with Matt Reeves and the reputation he has, it's unlikely that it was ever going to go wrong. It's good to see enthusiastic people. I know exactly what you mean. Hallelujah. My voice is going, man. Bloody hell. I don't know why I started thinking of the movie Ransom with Mel Gibson. Red Panda, what do you think about Lois Lane in DCEU? Really want to be still played by Amy Adams. I loved her performance. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do there. It's interesting, isn't it? Amy's great, really great. Channel great. I could see them doing multiple trilogies. This one with just Batman on his own, building the roads and the mood of Gotham. Then the next introduction to the Bat family, the third Batman Beyond. Yeah, you could be right there. It would be great. I don't think Matt wants to go anywhere anytime soon. Hisham Kashi, I was so underwhelmed by No Time to Die. I think Carrie Fukunanga was only one who saved the film. Well, they were all singing from the same SJW hymn sheet, weren't they? But at the end of the day, No Time to Die is 3 hours long. It's funny, isn't it? It's nearly 3 hours long, right? And nobody complained about 3 hours, but with the Batman, it's too long, right? No Time to Die is a film that just goes on and on. The action, the directing, the cinematography is beautiful. The story is shit. When you get an actor like, Mr. Malik in the job, it should be a win for a great villain, but it wasn't. It was written badly, like most of the Daniel Craig era James Bonds, and they've messed the whole thing up. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with No Time to Die at all. I hated Spectre. Skyfall was good. The other one, what's it called? Quantum of Solace. Disappointing. And Casino Royale is one of the best films I've ever seen of that time. What a shame. Red Panda. Yeah, Daniel Craig came with the idea to kill the character. I don't know what to say about that. Well, he's interfered in production. He's very opinionated. He got them to leave the continuity because he saw it as toxic masculinity. These people are nuts, and they've ruined James Bond. Who knows what else they're going to do next? Amazon now own MGM, that own Bond partially. And, I hear like Barbara Broccoli saying we don't want any streaming shows, but that's the future, my dear. You're not in the modern era. James Bond deserves people to run it who understands what's needed in a franchise these days. Shannon Gray, who would you cast as new villains for the Batman franchise? Freeze, Two-Face, Bane, Scarecrow, etc. Also the Bat family. So I would cast Zendaya as Batgirl in the Reeves universe. I think she would be perfect. Some people may not like that for obvious reasons, but I think Zendaya would be perfect. I'd really like her to join DC live action and not go back to Marvel. She's working with WB on Euphoria. She worked with WB on Dune. So I think she's going to be locked into a WB contract very soon. So we could see her in DC live action. As for the other ones, you could pick anyone. They always put these bigger names in, but I like unknowns in these type of comic book movies. Hisham Kishi Long, why is everything toxic masculinity now? Seriously, it doesn't make sense for James Bond. The character is literally called James Bond. It's like they're trying to piss people off. Well, here's the thing. These people, ever since the Donald Trump situation, and I'm no fan of Donald Trump, have been triggered, and they've been doubling down on this extreme identity politics. And yeah, they're killing themselves, they're killing their own industry because they're driving people away. So it's up to them. Because the English-speaking entertainment industry will die, and we'll be watching foreign movies with subtitles, which is fine with me, but they're destroying their own business. We are the kingmakers. We decide if they're successful or not. Without us, we're nothing. It's like critics slaughtering the fans, right? Without the fans, there's no point of critics. Without the fans and the public and the consumer, there's no point in making films and television. So you may not like us. I didn't like my customers when I worked behind the deli many years ago when I was younger, but I gritted my teeth and smiled. That is what happens when you're serving the public. And believe you me, they are supposed to be serving the public. Right, everyone, one more comment and I'm definitely going. We've been here for 2 hours. I've been freezing. I've been tired. I woke up again thanks to you lot asking me some great questions. It's been a great live, though, and I've really enjoyed it. So one more question before I go. Chanel Gray, do you think Deathstroke, Ra's al Ghul, and the League of Shadows exist in this universe? I do. Yes, I do. I'm a bit skeptical because, according to the novel, he learned from everywhere he visited. Yeah, that's so he doesn't give any clues. Hisham Kessie. So yeah, before I go there. Yeah, I do believe Ra's al Ghul will be introduced to this universe, and I think he will be treated a lot more like he's treated in the comics, Ra's al Ghul is a fascinating character, and Liam Neeson did a great job with him, but they should never have killed him off. So I do think the League of Shadows and Ra's al Ghul is involved, and I hope they are. Ishan Kissy, yeah, but they're only serving a very small niche group of people. Yeah, as I say, it's up to them, isn't it? Their industry will die. I know what you mean, though. It's up to them. They don't like their customers, right? They don't like men. But we're the ones, and women, of course, go to cinemas, right? But more men than women went to see Captain Marvel. That's the fact. The lead actress was slaughtering straight white males. They're the ones who went to see the film, right? In its majority, like it or not. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with other people, right? But when you live in a world where you're saying straight white males are bad and minorities and women are pure than the driven snow, first of all, your worldview is wrong, because everyone's an individual and we're all different. And judging people in groups and putting people in boxes doesn't work out very well. And we know that from the Second World War. Red Panda, yeah, you're right. I think the reason they chose everybody to forget about Peter's identity is maybe because Zendaya will leave Marvel in the future. Yep, that's what I think. I think maybe she's gone from now because she doesn't have a working relationship with Sony really or Disney. She's very tied in with WB, which is very lucky because she's the most popular young actress out there. The young girls love her. Everyone loves her. And I would give my iced teeth, or I'd give anything for her to join DC Live Action. Chanel Gray, I appreciate the answers. Love talking. Take care. Thank you, Chanel Gray. You've been asking me some wonderful questions. It woke me up a bit, and I enjoyed answering them. Thank you very much. Right, everyone, it's time to sign off. If you put one more question, I'll answer that and go. I've been going for the past hour, but I really have to go. Right, everyone, this has been Movies TV Mad Live. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I will see you tomorrow with the DCEU Daily in the morning. And we'll be live in the evening, fingers crossed. Hisham Kissy, what about the Batman story do you like? What about the Batman story do you like the most? I love the evolution of him calling himself Vengeance and having the realization that calling himself Vengeance has inspired the wrong people and he needs to give people hope. That's what I love about the Batman. They did a great job with that. So, until tomorrow, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you, everyone, for an awesome live. I really enjoyed it yet again. So until tomorrow, goodbye. Have a lovely evening, whatever you're doing tonight or today or this afternoon. Have a good day, afternoon or evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. See you later.